Our next speaker, Dr. Joni Kettunen, is a pioneer in physiological analytics and their application. His vision for incorporating heartbeat analytics and wearable technology has placed Firstbeat at the cutting edge of the industry. Specific areas of expertise include wearables, well-being services, and professional sports. Firstbeat analytics are used by hundreds of elite sports teams and thousands of wellness professionals. This is going to start our sports and fitness section of the afternoon. Please welcome Dr. Joni Kettunen.
So I'm Joni Kettunen from Firstbeat, and I'm going to talk about physiological analytics and what's happening in the background of this analytics development. We at Firstbeat, we like to help every individual to reach your personal health and performance goals and with science-backed confidence. And we do this in terms of physiological analytics. And today we work with about 1,000 professional sports teams around the world to help them to improve their performance, and that's NFL, NHL, NBA, soccer series in Europe, for example. We also power more than 100 consumer products by different top brands in terms of analytics. And we have also gained significant experience in terms of corporate wellness at the area of our employee wellness checks. The core science behind of analytics, as we see it, is physiology. And in terms of humans, it comes down to understanding what are the mechanisms underlying a healthy human body alive and functioning. So that's the difference from medical, where you are more concerned about the human not working well in some condition, but this is about the human that is working well. So that's physiology. And this is a picture of laydown of autonomic nervous system. And there's a parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. And there's a lot of different information going back and forth. And these systems regulate our heart, respiration, oxygen, stress responses, sleep, digestion, recovery, many different functions. And I'm showing this picture because it shows how connected the body actually is with the brain and everything. Everything relates to everything. And as heart is part of that picture, and it's been controlled by many different functions, we are using heartbeat data to understand what's happening in the body. We use heart variability and different variations on it as a window to understand what's happening in the physiology itself. And doing that, we get to make an image or digital model of your physiology. And so it's an actual simulation of what's happening in your physiology, and having autonomic nervous system, the oxygen system, respiratory system, metabolics, and so on. And once we know what's actually happening in your body, then we can provide you some feedback in terms of what to do with how to get better, how to improve your performance, or how to improve your health. So first thing is to understand, do the diagnostics in a way what's happening, and then we can provide personalized advice on what to do. Some of the work behind that we have been doing for almost 20 years is this circle actually that I will explain. Everything starts with the physiology, biology, that's a priori. And then we apply mathematics, physics, machine learning, different kind of methods to make a model of different physiological functions and phenomena. And then we go to lab, we test that, we see how it works, or does it not work. We evaluate if is it good enough for commercial product or professional use in coaching. And then we go back to physiology. We refine our understanding of physiology, then we do further modeling and so. And this is something we have done for almost 20 years in collecting information on how to map the physiology and how to use physiology to make products. We have quite a lot of research background, and that's why we also work with many of the research institutes around the world. And there's more than 100 different publications published in academic peer-reviewed journals on the use of this technology and products. So let's take VO2 max, for example, fitness level. And I'm sure many of you have products with this feature. And the idea has been there to use laboratory tests to be able to make this outside of laboratory in everyday life, whether you are running or walking. And we have done more than 1,000 laboratory tests in the background to get this right. And now we are in its 5th generation in terms of commercial products. And so it's capable of showing fairly accurately in your VO2 max in milliliters per kilogram per minute, and it takes account of different it takes account of different kind of invalid combinations of data. There's a lot of inherent quality assessment in that modeling. It takes account of uphills and downhills if you're running or walking, sudden starts and stops, different variable speeds, and so on. So this has been developed step by step over the years, and now it's getting in a quite robust condition. And in not so many months ahead, we will get 6th generation products into the market, taking even more features. Then let's consider stress. In terms of VO2 max, the validation is fairly simple because you have a gas analysis there and you go for lab. But in terms of stress, it's not so simple because there's no single golden standard to validate that. And as our approach has been to use hardware variability to understand what's the stress and recovery condition of the body. So we have been correlating and validating that against physiological, pharmacological measures, biochemical, behavioral, and subjective. And I will show you something. This is about the pharmacological validation. It's pretty hardcore. It means that the test subjects has been given an injection of atropine, which dramatically shuts down your parasympathetic nervous system. And so the upper graph there is the person's heart rate or heartbeat interval before this pharmacological blockage. And you can see there's quite a lot of variation. And then the parasympathetic nervous system is closed down. And then you can see a dramatic reduction in the heart rate variability. So this is the kind of research we have done in the background, and this is actually published in the American Journal of Physiology many years ago already. This is about behavioral validation, and in this case, the subjects, first they have had a baseline rest there, and it shows green recovery. Then the lucky subject is given a task to prepare a speech on a topic he doesn't know at all. And he's told that he's going to be evaluated by his superiors on his competency. Not very nice. And then in the preparation, you can see that the stress goes very high there, and obviously it's very high when you deliver this speech. And the subject thinks that he's actually going to be evaluated in terms of his or her competence. And then there's some mental arithmetics. And so this is how to experimentally induce stress for subjects to see that things are working well. And we also have some practical evidence from health services, from wellness coaching, and this is some of the reports from these studies where they use high accuracy heart rate variability recording, and then the rate is stress, green is recovery, and then people get health coaching based on this data. And that's been a way of collect data for us also from 300,000 people on how well the correspondence is working there. And also then, of course, we do ask also some subjective questionnaires there, and we have results on how, on the days that you feel more stress or you report more stress, so there's also more physiological stress. But the psychological experience of stress and the physiological stress, so they are not the same thing, so they are not supposed to correlate one-to-one anyways. And the other graph there, it shows what is the intensity of stress from January to December and from Monday to Sunday. And it's just some big data. And we can see that Saturdays are most stressful in every month, actually. And August seems to be most stressful month. So, and actually, the August Saturdays seem to be the worst. And for some reason, I know some of the reasons, but so if we look at, it's Wednesday now and January, so this is supposed to be, on average, a medium stress day. But I don't know if accounts for CES, though. This is not average, maybe. And speaking of that, alcohol, and based on this data, so it shows how the use of alcohol decreases your recovery at night. And we can see that it's fairly safe to take one drink, one dose of alcohol, but after 2 or 3 drinks, actually your recovery starts to decrease quite dramatically. And this has been published in some medical journals as well. And as we open some of our database for research groups at universities. And also, we validate this in practice in professional sports, wherein coaches use this dashboard to understand what is the stress level, what is the recovery, what is the training load of athletes, and that's also a way of collecting data for us, how well new features are working on this domain and how well they can be applied in a high-performance environment like this. And I hope that we have helped some of the teams like Washington Capitals or Manchester United to win what they have won in the last years. Or actually the local team as well. So a lot of what we do is connected to human physiology. And that's the background what we do. And of course, we don't do the sensors, but of course the sensors are related to physiology. Then we get some raw data, like heartbeat, some speed. And then we have our core physiological engine doing the core analytics like respiration, oxygen consumption. And then we have higher level analytics, which is more predictive, more coaching-like, depending on our application. And then this is fed to the user experience. And of course, the user experience it drives the product design, but also we do research on user experience in terms of how to show the information for the users in a way that it's also physiologically valid and the user understands. And if we get to communicate what's happening in your body, and what's good for your health or performance, so then we get to deliver some benefits for the end users, which means that people can actually use the information to get, whether it's better performance or better health or something in between, to actually use it, and which is obviously the whole starting point of making a product, is delivering good things for people, basically, helping them to get better. These are some examples of products out there right now, for example, and by different brands incorporating our analytics. And these are some examples of the analytics inside of these devices. So we spoke already about the fitness level, and that's a very important core metrics, because it's if you want to track your fitness, you want to measure your fitness, and this is the core thing to do, to see the output of your investment in your fitness regimes, whether you are beginning or whether you are in a high level. Fitness age, calories, then we can provide dynamic, based on your actual data and your history, we can provide dynamic advice on what kind of exercise to do, coaching for any particular target, or just to get better, more well, or reduce your stress, for example. We can provide real-time coaching as a part of our product. Of course, it depends on our product design. Training effect is a prediction of how much of this specific training is improving your aerobic capacity. We can predict how long it takes for you to fully recover from your exercise. Anaerobic training effect, we can provide real-time feedback. How are you doing in this training? Actually, I hate that I think that I'm doing a good exercise, but then at the between it tells me that I would better walk, actually. I'm doing better, I'm doing more harm for myself if I'm doing what I'm doing, but that's life. Training load, then training status, am I improving, peaking, or am I harming my body, actually? Lactate threshold, and that's we can provide it from running or cycling for very endurance athletes. And then we can provide an understanding of how much health your daily physical activities has benefit, how much your health has benefited from your physical activities across your whole day. So looking at the heart functions, all day stress and recovery, as you can see in some of the devices, very comprehensive sleep quality assessment, body resources, body battery, acute stress, and then recovering moments. And these are some examples of applications based on our core analytics that we have been developing over these years. And the reason for me really being here is that we like to do good things. We like to be part of good products that make a difference and are really useful for the users. And we hope to do them with you. and with all of the industry.
So Joni, tell me, who was the first athletic team that adopted your technology?
First athletic team in US, New York Rangers.
The New York Rangers?
Was the first team, yes.
How'd they do? What year?
Sorry?
What year?
In, I don't remember. many years ago. Yeah, we have been working with them for many years.
So now how many teams are you working with?
About 1,000.
Really?
Yes.
Across all sports?
Across, yes, in elite team sports. So in NHL we have, I think, 16 or 17 teams alone. Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us, Joni. Please, let's give Joni a round of applause.